Hello, everyone. A very good morning to all of you. Thanks for joining on a Sunday morning. This is your LVC for Strategic Management. My name is C. Arjit Sethi, and we are doing chapter number 2, which is External Environment Analysis for Businesses. And we are almost at the fag end of our chapter today. So we complete chapter 2 today. Couple of topics, like three major topics left with Michael Porter's competitive strategies, right? Or five forces of model. Which one? It's five forces of model. We're left with KSFs. And we are finally also going to talk about competitive strategy, what options are available, how do we beat or meet competition as a business. And it's going to be an interesting class because we've been doing a lot of analysis, discussion in terms of how do we analyze industry, a product, a market, what's a pricing, what's a product, how do customers make decisions, and all of that is going to be something we talk about today. Okay. But before I get into the chapter, okay, before I even start getting into the concept, I have, as always, a few quick questions for you to revise and get to speed with what we've been doing in chapter 1 and 2, and then we straight go into Michael Porter's five forces of competition. Okay. So, number one question for you. I want each one of you to be active on the chat as always. The more you talk, the more you learn. So, first question for you, you can drop in your answers on the chat and probably have that conversation is here we go. Okay. Just setting my screen and all set. The question I have for you is, where do I want the organization to be in the future? Is that a mission or a vision? Simple. Is that a mission or a vision? Vision. Okay. Very good. Prem, Vishal, Shruti, thanks for being so active. It's called vision. Where I want the organization to be in the future is absolutely vision. My next question to you, okay? My next question is a simple one. CFO, Chief Financial Officer, sits at which level of the organization? Chief Finance Officer, CFO, sits at which level of the organization? Okay. One coming from Prem says corporate level. Okay, Prem, thank you. What about others? Alma says corporate. Make more responses on corporate. CFO sits at the corporate level. Okay, CFO sits at the corporate level. Now let's make the questions a bit tougher. Okay. Which of the two is not a reason for organizations to go global? Which of the two is not a reason for organizations to go global? Number one, cost reduction. Okay. Number two, differentiation of the product. Which of the two is not a reason for organizations to go global? One, cost reduction. Two, differentiation of the product.
Cost reduction.
Nice. I could hear somebody speak. I would request we put it on the chat. We let you speak once we are done with the class and we open questions and answer. But thanks, the answer is right. The answer is cost reduction, right? That's the wrong answer, my friend. The correct answer is differentiation of product. Cost reduction is a reason to go global. For example, companies go to countries like India. So US MNCs coming to India is because It's a reduced cost. It's a less cost country. Companies going to Vietnam, Philippines, going to Indonesia, right? Because the cost of labor or people, the cost of material, the cost of doing business is much lower. And that's a reason for you to go global. Differentiation of product is not a reason to go global. Differentiation can also be done in the domestic market. You don't necessarily have to go global if you want to differentiate your product. Okay? Correct answer is differentiation of product is not a reason to go global. Okay? Very nice. Let me ask you another question. Let's say you are working on increasing the efficiency. You are working on increasing the efficiency of work in your, let's say, manufacturing plant. You are manufacturing water bottles. You're trying to increase the efficiency of your factory. Which activity in a value chain analysis are you focusing on? Which activity in value chain analysis are you focusing on? I'm asking about which activity in value chain analysis are you focusing on? That is right. Okay, now you get it. Pretty good answer, right? That's the right one. Prem, that's the right one. Okay, couple others saying, okay, the correct answer is operations. You are working on a primary activity called operations if you're trying to increase the efficiency of your business. Okay? You're trying to increase the efficiency of your business is operations. Operation primary activity. Okay, last question for you. Zepto, Blinkit, Big Basket, their value proposition to the customer. What activity are they focusing on? We talked about it yesterday. I gave you the example also. What activity are they focusing on to add value or show value addition to the customer? कौन सी activity in the value chain analysis are they working on? Blinkit, Zepto, कहाँ काम कर रहे हैं? Okay, Shruti, do you want to revise your answer? You're close, but you're not right. You want to take a look? Okay, Priyanshi, again, do you want to take a look at what you're trying to answer? Do you want to revise? Prem, that's the right answer. Awesome. They're working on outbound logistics. They are working on being experts or adding value to the customer in outbound logistics. Okay. Their value proposition to the customer is that our outbound logistics is absolutely fantastic because we can deliver things in 10 minutes, under 10 minutes, anywhere you're living in a particular city, wherever they are. They are working on outbound logistics. Okay, very nice. We were talking about external analysis, macro, micro, right? Demographics, social culture, economic, political, legal, pestle analysis. Why do organizations go global? We were talking about this yesterday. Internationalization of the business, developing internationally. Why do companies go global? And what's in for them, right? The growth necessity, the reduced time, the cost reduction, the access to resources, sales and cash flow, service and economic integration, ease of reaching out to the markets, right? Then we also had ease of forming strategic alliances, right? The ease of forming strategic alliances was another reason that probably companies want to go global now. We talked about product and industry. We talked about two very important concepts of product life cycle and value chain analysis. We talked about operations, outbound logistics right now. Okay, these are the primary activities for value chain analysis. And now we are going to start with our very, very, very business centric topic called Porter's Five Forces of Competition. Okay. Now, concept kya hai? Why are we studying this? What's the relevance of this topic? The relevance of this topic is that external environment has competitors. अपना सबसे बड़ा rival in external environment is not generally legal, not government, not economy, because this is like it's going to be there for sure. Can't probably look at it, right? It's like you have to go through it. But competition ऐसी चीज है जिसके लिए you are always concerned. For legal, political, you solve once and it's done, right? There's a legal issue, you solve it, you get a compliance certificate, and you're done with it. Same for legal, same for political. You know, if there is a particular party with a particular agenda for the next 5 years, it's going to be the agenda. You look very competitors, jo hain, they keep responding to your strategy. Now, competitors are responding to your strategy. The forces of competition in the industry बहुत ही important है to analyze whether this industry is even making sense or not. अब मैं आपसे question, okay? I want you to answer like basic understanding of the business. Would you rather go in a business? Would you rather go in a business where you have a lot of people already doing that business because you think that सब पैसा कमा रहे हैं, मैं भी पैसा कमाता हूं. Thinking that everybody is making money in this business, so let me also go and start this business. One, or would you go in a business where there are very few players, right? बहुत ही कम players है, but बहुत बड़े players. कहाँ जाए? Which industry would you prefer? Where there are so many small players, everybody is making money, or would you go in a business where there are 2, 3 but very big players? कहाँ जाओ? I want each one of you to answer, please. I see so many people in the class. I want each one of you to think and answer because it's going to be the important foundation of this topic. Okay, Priyanshi says, wherever I have less players, I'll go. Vishal says, wherever big players, 2, 3, but big players, I'll go there. Prem says, I want to go in small players. Okay, Vishnu says, where there are 2 or 3 because it has less competition. Okay, very nice. Now, each one of you is analyzing something very important here. Okay, what are you trying to analyze here is which industry is going to be more attractive? कहाँ ज़्यादा पैसा, कहाँ आसान होगा पैसा? Where is it going to be easy to make money? That is what your brain is analyzing as a business professional. कि भाई, where am I going to make money relatively easy, right? Relative, अगर मैं दो का comparison करूँ तो easy कहाँ होगा पैसा बनाना, वो आपका. And it's fair. Your assumptions, right and wrong, time tells. But this is what you analyze. You're analyzing the competitive environment of the industry even before getting into the industry. Let me ask you another question. Would you rather go in an industry where there is a price war? Let's say आप एक perfume industry में जाना चाहते हो जहाँ पे you're getting deodorants and perfumes for 150, perfumes for 300, 500, 600 rupees. बहुत सारे brands है, price war चल रही. If you sell for 500, you will get customer. If you reduce by 50 rupees, you will get more customers. क्योंकि competitor 500 रुपए पे बैठा है. And if you go and sell a perfume for 450, you will automatically get a lot of market share. Would you rather go in an industry where there is price war, or would you go in an industry where the customer does not look at the price, they look at the quality? जहाँ पे customer कह रहे हैं यार मेरे को 400-500 रुपए से मतलब नहीं है. If the perfume stays for 24 hours, the fragrance is nice and strong and elegant and I feel confident in that fragrance, I'll give you 1200 rupees also for it. कौन सी market में जाओ? Which market would you choose? Okay, one answer has come is I would go with quality. Where the customer is bothered about quality. Shruti says I want to go with the quality. Alma says I want to go with quality. No preferable where the customer not buy on basis of price, they prefer comfort first. Now, everybody wants to go in an industry where the customer has no price selection. ठीक है, customer कह रहे हैं पैसे मैं दे दूंगा आप मेरे को quality. Everybody wants to do a business there. Now think with me practically. What you're saying is absolutely right, but think with me practically here. Would you make a bigger business in quality in India, or would you make a bigger business on a price point in India? Let's talk about Indian market. कहाँ पे ज़्यादा बड़ा business बनाओगे? Where will you make a bigger business? Where you play on price point or where you play on quality? Absolutely. Now the answers are changing to price point. Okay, now see what I'm doing here for you is I am asking the same question, but your answer is changing. Okay, think about this. I am asking the same question, but your answer is changing. Why? Why? Because I am asking a question which helps you think from a different perspective. And this is what Porter's 5 forces model also does. Okay? There is no set rule, there is no set strategy, there is no yes or a no, there is no right or a wrong strategy. It depends on your preference, it depends on your vision, it depends on your intent, it depends on where you want to be. अब मैं आपको वापस लेके जाऊं. A lot of people have this question कि यार ये vision such a theoretical, कितना बड़ा ड्रीम लेके हम बिजनेस बनाएंगे, क्या पॉइंट? Why do we even need a vision mission? It is so theoretical, it is so useless, right? But the point is, it is not useless because your vision decides the kind of business you want to do. The moment I said, what if I have to make a big business in India? You said, फिर तो भाई price point पे खेलो. My vision was clear. I want to be into the masses. I want to be in a big size company in India. That's my vision. So that is deciding my strategy. तो vision ही नहीं होगा तो भाई strategy क्या करो? You know why now that vision, mission, intent becomes important? Because end में तो decision लेना है. I have to do a decision making, but unless I have a clarity on my vision or a mission, it would not make sense. And that is why, my friend, I am linking all topics now. I have to have a vision and a mission and a strategy because you have to take decisions. The moment I said, कहाँ पे easy होगा business करना? Quality वाला business करेंगे. The customer is not concerned about prices. We will sell quality. We will still make money and a decent business. भाई vision clear था आपका. भाई मुझे बड़ा business नहीं बनाना. मुझे एक decent quality business बनाना है, and for that I will probably go into a quality business. Very good. The moment my vision is I want to be a big customer size business, big volume business, price point आ गया जी. So your strategy, your analysis of competition will decide your fate based on where you want to be. What's your end goal? कैसा business बनाना है? Right? Let me ask you another question. There's an industry, let's say industry here, which is very politically charged and bad. Let's say power supply. बिजली आती है आपके घर में, electricity आती है आपके घर में. You want to enter that industry saying that I want to be a player who puts all these electricity poles in my city. Let's say you live in Udaipur. आप कहिए उदयपुर में मेरे को बिजली के पोल लगा. That's my business. All the electricity poles have become old and rust लग गया है. दिखता है वो खराब हो गया है, so you want to sell new poles of electricity to the government. How easy it is going to be to do that? इतना आसान होगा. Easy, difficult, very difficult, impossible, nearly impossible. You need network. What do you think? It's going to be difficult, right? Not easy at all. Not easy at all. You need a network. It is going to be difficult. Very difficult. My question is why? क्यों है difficult? क्यों है difficult मेरे दोस्त? Why is it difficult? Question is why? क्यों है difficult? If Prem says the government, the way of the ease of doing business is difficult. You need to have a network with the officers. You may or may not get tendered. So basically, what we're saying is that industry, that market does not allow new competitors, right? That market does not really allow new competitors. Which means entry to new entrants, the ease of doing business for new entrants is difficult. The industry does not entertain, does not like new entrants into the market. I mean, नए players को नहीं आने देते हैं वो industry में. So now you know, even if the business is good, it makes money. Is it easy to get into that business? Yes or no? That's an analysis. That's an industry analysis. कि भैया, how good that industry in terms of ease of doing business is. Okay. Now let me ask you another question. एक और business की बात करें. Would you rather open a cafe? Listen to this carefully. Would you rather open a cafe, right, where you sell something very, very specific? भाई ये सिर्फ आप ही के पास मिलता है. Or would you rather open a restaurant of, let's say, chole bhature or kadi chawal or dosa, right? जहाँ पे you get everybody can eat, come and eat. क्या खोलोगे? Which one would you choose? Right? Next, Vishnu says, I want to open that cafe. Sunil says, I will go and open a dosa counter. I will make crores of rupees selling dosa. Cafe, right? Dosa, cafe, dosa. Absolutely. Now, what is happening is it will depend on who are the people nearby and what they will prefer. Very nice. Analysis of the customers. अपनी इच्छा मत देखो, कस्टमर की इच्छा देखो. If you open a dosa shop in a premium mall, नहीं बिकेगा भाई, चलेगा ही नहीं. If you open a dosa stand in a mall, it's not gonna work as much as you want it to, but a cafe would. But dosa shop के लिए customer भी तो देखना पड़ेगा, right? एक और एग्जांपल देते हैं। Let me give you an example. Think about this. Would you rather open an ice cream shop where you already have 10 other ice cream shops in a line कि भाई customer या ice cream खाने हैं? Think about this. There is a particular road, let's say महात्मा गांधी रोड है आपकी सिटी में, वहां पे there are 10 ice cream shops. Every night, hundreds of people come and eat ice cream there. So you think about this. So you also open an ice cream shop in that area. आपका एक आइडिया ये है कि यार ऑलरेडी 10 है, मैं एक और खोल लेता हूँ. There are hundreds of people who are coming, so I will also open an ice cream shop. Option number one. Would you rather do this, or would you open a thali, a 100 rupee lunch thali, cafe or like restaurant or a stall near an office where there is nobody else? आप एक ऑफिस कॉम्प्लेक्स के नीचे लंच थाली का बिजनेस खोलेंगे where there is nobody else, or would you open an ice cream shop where there are already 10 shops but a lot of people come there because they know यहाँ आइसक्रीम मिलेगी? क्या करोगे? Which one would you choose? Okay, so this says stall near office, lunch thali, perfect, beneficial in that area where there's no competition. Lunch thali, right? A lot of people saying lunch thali. Vishnu says I will open ice cream because it's already a developed market, तो मेरे को ज़्यादा effort नहीं करना पड़ेगा. 90% of the people are saying lunch thali. Okay. Now, what you're doing, my friend, right now is actually what we are going to learn today. You are analyzing Porter's 5 forces of competition. You are doing Porter's 5 forces of competition analysis while sitting at your home in your bed in front of a laptop. आप कर रहे हो. आप तो MBA हो गया आपका आज. But that's what this analysis is all about. What would I do? I don't know. Both. But I think lunch thali would be a quicker growth business, though ice cream stand will have a set market, already established market, but the customers will have a lot of options. Customers will नया होगा तो चल जाऊंगा because I'm a new shop. Maybe people would like to try, but the competition is going to be fierce. Lunch thali में क्या है? Option नहीं है लोगों के पास. They will just come and they will have to eat even if I'm not very good at making thighs. Right? So pros and cons. Pros and cons. अब आइसक्रीम वाले में there's an established market. मेरे को ज़्यादा मेहनत नहीं करनी. People are already coming in huge numbers to eat ice cream on that road. तो मुझे बुलाना नहीं पड़ेगा, marketing नहीं करनी पड़ेगी. थाली वाले में maybe I will have to make my product so good that mouth publicity से people start eating there. I don't know. But still there is a gap in industry, so हो सकता है मेरा business चल जाए. It's a give and take. You have to analyze things. Whatever makes sense. Both are good options to be looked at. But एक में is fierce competition, एक में competition नहीं है. You're the only one supplying. Right? So that is how you analyze the industry's external forces. Porter's 5 forces of check. Let's explore the 5 forces model. But before that, let us understand ये होता क्या है. Now, Porter's 5 forces model is like a superhero toolkit for understanding how businesses compete. ठीक है जी? It helps companies figure out the challenges they face in the market. The breakdown of 5 forces is here for your understanding. Let's say there is a girl called Neeti. Neeti खोल रही है अपना lime soda stand. Lemon soda, lime soda का stand खोल रही है. तो नीति के साथ हम जरा रन थ्रू करते हैं द 5 forces ऑफ पोर्टर। द 5 forces ऑफ पोर्टर हम जरा नीति के साथ रन करते हैं एंड लेट्स सी कि क्या हो रहा है इस बिजनेस में। ठीक है जी। नंबर 1, competitive rivalry. Now, Neeti sets up her lime soda stand in a busy office complex. She notices other people selling juice as well. The competition is fierce, so she decides to make her soda special by adding masala and giving a paper napkin and a straw. This helps her stand out and attract more customers. कंपटीशन फेलियर्स है तो उसका सोल्यूशन क्या है? सोल्यूशन ये है एन एडेड सर्विस। Neeti knows that starting a soda stand is easy and other people might want to join in. कोई मुश्किल काम नहीं कर रहे हो, आप नींबू पानी बेच रहे हो तो कल को कोई और भी नींबू पानी बेचने आ सकता है। यू आर नॉट डिफरेंशिएटेड। To stay ahead, she creates a fun brand with colorful signs and offers loyalty system for repeat customers in the office complex. This makes it harder for new stands to compete. She starts building relationship with the customers. उनको credit देती है, पैसे नहीं कल दे देना, कार्ड पे लिख लो, right? She starts loyalty program. If you buy soda every day, संडे को मैं फ्री दूँ, अगले मंडे आना आपको एक सोडा फ्री। लॉयल्टी प्रोग्राम चालू करके एक ब्रांड के साथ रिलेशन बना दिया कस्टमर का। अ सोल्यूशन टू कर्ब एंट्री ऑफ न्यू एंट्रेंट्स बिकॉज यू आर नॉट डूइंग समथिंग स्पेशल। आप कुछ ऐसे मैजिक सामान नहीं बेच रहे, नींबू पानी बेच रहे। तो हाउ डू यू प्रोटेक्ट योर मार्केट इज यू मेक द कस्टमर लॉयल। सोल्यूशन भी दे रहा हूँ। नंबर 3, bargaining power of the supplier. Now, Neeti gets her Nimbu from a local grocery shop. If the store raises the prices, it could affect her profits. So, क्या करती? She builds a good relationship with the store owner, ensuring she gets fresh lemons at a fair price. Contract कर सकते हैं. You can get into a long-term contract with the supplier कि भाई अगले 6 महीने तक एक प्राइस सेट कर लो आप। मैं आपसे एक्स वॉल्यूम लूंगा एंड यू हैव टू गिव मी एक्स प्राइस, राइट? सो योर बार्गेनिंग पावर विद द सप्लायर हैज टू बी स्ट्रांग सो दैट कल को अगर वो प्राइस बढ़ा दे तो ऐसा ना हो कि योर बिजनेस गेट्स इनटू अ डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन। सप्लायर के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल रिलेशंस बनाओ, प्राइसिंग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करो। नंबर 4, बार्गेनिंग पावर ऑफ द बायर। इफ नीतीज लेमनेड, आपका लेमन सोडा बहुत एक्सपेंसिव होगा तो पीपल माइट चूज समथिंग एल्स अवेलेबल इन द कॉम्प्लेक्स। चाय पी लेंगे, जूस पी लेंगे, नारियल पानी पी लेंगे। They will go with the coconut water or tea or juice because they have options available. But what she does is to keep the customers happy, she offers affordable prices and occasional discounts, making her soda a popular choice. प्राइस पे खेलना पड़ेगा क्योंकि बायर के पास भैया ऑप्शन है। बायर के पास तो ऑप्शंस हैं, सिर्फ लेमन सोडा नहीं है। देयर इज कोकोनट वाटर, देयर इज जूस, देयर इज कॉफी, देयर इज टी। तो भैया यू हैव टू ऑफर डिस्काउंट्स, यू हैव टू ऑफर समथिंग दैट द कस्टमर वैल्यूज। The threat of substitutes. Neeti realizes that people can easily switch to iced tea, fruit juice, जो कि उसके पास नहीं है। To beat this, to combat this, to win over this problem, what she does is she introduces make your own soda option. It allows the customers to mix their flavors. रूह अफ़ज़ा डाल दो, जलजीरा पाउडर डाल दो नींबू सोडा में, क्रैनबेरी फ्लेवर, राइट, ब्लैक करंट फ्लेवर। दिस कीप्स द स्टैंड एक्साइटिंग एंड अपील्स द कस्टमर्स। या कस्टमाइजेशन है, अपनी मर्जी से हम बना सकते हैं। She's adding that element of excitement in her business so that people don't switch to substitutes of her product. So, understanding these five forces and figuring out solutions to these five forces of competition available in the industry, in the business that you're doing, it helps you navigate these basic challenges and helps you capture your market. That's why the Porter's five forces model is important. Is it clear? Is it clear? Awesome. If you are an established business and you don't want new businesses to enter your industry, if you are an established business and you don't want new businesses to enter your industry, right? What you will do is you will put barriers for entry of the new competitor. तो आप entry barriers लगा दो. Entry barrier कैसे लगा? How can you stop new people from entering your industry? There is always a threat of new people coming into your industry and taking away your market. हमेशा ये एक प्रॉब्लम रहेगी, एक चैलेंज रहेगा आपको कि यार नए कंपीटिटर्स आएंगे और मेरा बिजनेस ले जाएंगे. सच है, ले जाएंगे. How do you put a barrier so that they can't even enter your industry? Number one, capital requirements. कुछ इंडस्ट्रीज में कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट्स बहुत हैवी होती हैं तो वो ऑलरेडी ऑटोमेटिकली एंट्री बैरियर बन जाता है. So if you work in an industry where the capital investment is huge, it's an entry barrier. Example देता हूँ. Entry barrier का example, capital requirement. Let's say who is the biggest person you know in your locality? Who is the richest person in your locality? You can share on the chat. Who do you think is the richest person in your area? सबसे अमीर आदमी or family or person, right? कौन है? And this is gender fluid, okay? When I say आदमी and your woman also. Who is the richest person in your locality? आसपास आपके घर की कौन है सबसे अमीर? You can probably share on the chat. Let's say I will not call out the names though, but it'll help me give you an example. Who's the richest person in your locality? You can put on the chat. Somebody who has a big showroom, somebody who has a big business, an MD of a big company, right? The jeweler in your area. Yaji says the jeweler in my area is one of the richest guys I know. अब याजी मेरे को एक चीज बता. Can this jeweler buy an IPL team? IPL की टीम खरीद सकता है आपका jeweler locality में. अमीर आदमी. This will be a rich person, very rich person, very affluent. But can this person buy an IPL team? ज्यादा नहीं, 7-8 हजार करोड़ रुपए लगेंगे सिर्फ. Absolutely. तो मुझे एक चीज बता. Can anybody go and buy an IPL? The answer is yes. If you have money. कोई ऐसे रिस्ट्रिक्शन तो नहीं है कि आप आईपीएल टीम तो सिर्फ एक्स टाइप के लोग ही खरीद सकते. एनीबडी कैन गो एंड बाय एन आईपीएल टीम इफ यू हैव मनी. आपके पास है 7,000-8,000 crore rupees, go and buy an IPL team. बट कितने लोगों के पास होंगे? Very limited, handful people. It's a capital requirement entry barrier. एंट्री बैरियर है, मना नहीं कर रहे. ऐसा नहीं कह रहे कि यार प्रेम कुमार जी आईपीएल टीम नहीं ले सकते, या प्रियांशी can't take an IPL team. They're not saying that. Or Smriti cannot take a IPL. You can buy if you have money. So the entry barrier is not anything but money. तो capital requirement huge है, तो already 99% of India तो out of this business हो. 99% इंडिया तो आईपीएल टीम के बिजनेस से बाहर हो गया, खरीद ही नहीं सकता। तो क्या ही आएगा कोई हमसे कंपनी, कैपिटल रिक्वायर्ड। Same with cement, electricity, roads, flyover making big machines, infrastructure businesses, making a huge mall, real estate, capital requirements. Capital requirement. If I tell you, hey, there is huge business, if you make a mall construct करो और बेचो उसको, every shop, food court में every piece of space is like crores of rupees. क्या business है? You should make a mall, and you make a mall, भाई 50 करोड़ रुपए चाहिए पहले। हैव टू बाय लैंड, देन कंस्ट्रक्ट, देन डू मेंटेनेंस, देन सेल। 50, 50, 60 करोड़ रुपीज से नीचे तो बात नहीं है। कैन एवरीबडी मेक अ मॉल? द आंसर इज नो। व्हाई? बिकॉज कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट इज एन एंट्री बैरियर। तो इफ somebody is in real estate of making commercial malls, they're already protected because सब लोग आके नहीं बना सकते। You need money. There will be people, there will be competition, but ऐसे नहीं कि कल को कोई भी उठ के आएगा कहेगा जी मॉल बनाता हूँ। So there's an entry barrier of capital. Number two, economies of scale is an entry barrier. Economies of scale is an entry barrier. Now, let's say, listen to this carefully and then answer. You want to start a business of making shirts, premium shirts बनाओगे, ठीक है जी? आपके अगर ऑफिस, इतने लोग ऑफिस जाते हैं, नॉट एवरीबडी कैन बाय 2000-3000 रुपीज शर्ट। आज की कोई भी ब्रांड में जाओ, आप शॉपर स्टॉप जाओ, आप वेस्ट साइड जाओ, यू गो टू H&M, यू गो टू एनी बेसिक ब्रांड, आई एम नॉट इवन सेइंग प्रीमियम ब्रांड, बेसिक ब्रांड जाओगे, पीटर इंग्लैंड चले जाओगे, 2000-3000 रुपीज के नीचे शर्ट। Now you say, I want to make a shirt for people in 1000 rupees. 1000 रुपए की शर्ट बन, वेरी गुड। बट उसकी कॉस्ट पता है कितनी? Because you are just starting, you will make 1000 pieces, 2000 pieces. Peter England is making 2 lakh pieces. H&M is making 5 lakh pieces. ठीक है जी? अब इनसे बीट कर, इन द कॉस्ट पर यूनिट फॉर दीज कंपनीज इज सो लेस। एक तो बन वियतनाम में रहा है, फिलीपींस में बन रहा है, 2 रुपए का सामान लेके 5 रुपए का दे आर मेकिंग स्टफ एंड सेलिंग फॉर 2000 because they have economies of scale. The fixed cost is huge, but the production is so much, fixed cost per unit comes down. For you factory खोलने में पहले 15 करोड़ रुपए लग जाएंगे, then per unit cost निकालोगे, it will be huge. So for new businesses to come into mass markets, for new businesses to get into mass markets where you have volumes, what stops you from winning over competition is economies of scale. Big brands, big companies have huge economies of scale, and you can't beat that. You cannot beat that. They already have economies of scale. ठीक है जी? So that's an entry barrier for new people. कि भाई existing businesses have volumes and they play on a very low unit cost, जो आपको अचीव करने में 4 से 5 साल लग जाए. That's an entry barrier for new people in mass markets. Product differentiation. How does a brand ensure कि नए आदमी को, नए person को, when I say आदमी again, it's gender fluid, okay? A new person has to enter the market. How do you ensure कि वो problem में customer उसके पास ना जाए? How do you ensure the customer does not switch? How do you ensure the customer does not switch to somebody else? By giving a differentiation to the customer, you will ensure that customer sticks with you and you create an entry barrier for the new person. Create an entry barrier for a new person. A product differentiation will. For example, if your business is so differentiated, इतना differently आप काम करते हो. For example, let's say a Zepto. अब Zepto का डिफरेंशिएशन क्या है कि भाई 7 minutes में डिलीवरी. It's cash burning business. They're still making huge losses. But वो क्या कर रहे हैं? They're trying to shoo away. They're trying to build a fort around quick commerce. आप समझिए क्या हो रहा है. Okay? Understand what startups are doing. They're doing the same thing. Startups are using all these things in practical form. Zepto's strategy, I will deliver under 10 minutes without any cost, and I will lose money. As a business, I will lose money for the next 5 years. I will lose 10,000 crore in the next 5 years so that नए लोग आ ही ना पाए. I create a barrier to entry of new players because it's cash burning. It's differentiated. That differentiation is so costly for people to copy. That differentiation is so costly for a new business to replicate कि वो आ ही ना पाए. And once कोई आ ही नहीं पाएगा, you are the only person in that market, and then you start charging money to the customer. Every delivery 15 rupees, they make almost 1 million deliveries every single day. 10 lakh कर रहे हैं per day. 15 रुपए डिलीवरी ले लें तो 1.5 CR every day. 1.5 crore rupees per day they can still make just by charging 15 rupees. The more the volumes, the more money they start making out of deliveries. Then they start making money. That's called entry barrier. You create a differentiation कि भाई लोगों को कॉपी करने में कमर टूट जाए. You differentiate your product so much that the competitor, not even competitor, a new entrant is not able to copy them. Number 4 way is called switching cost. Switching cost. Classic example is Windows versus Apple operating system. Android versus Apple operating system. People who work on PPT, PowerPoint, people who work on Excel, people who work on Word, they will never go with an Apple laptop. क्योंकि भाई उनको एप्पल में जाके फिर से सब कुछ पूरा सॉफ्टवेयर सीखना पड़ेगा. Switching cost. The cost of the buyer to switch, that experience to unlearn and relearn, people are too lazy. They're like, नहीं भाई नहीं सीखना. Classic example will go. How many of you use Instagram Reels? Or probably go on Instagram to watch Reels. How many of you go? Okay, all of us. To be very honest, all of us. Now my question to you is, if I start an app today, ठीक है जी, मेरे को बस yes and no बताना. I am asking for guidance here. If I start an app today, which is an Indian version of Instagram, कि यहाँ पे सिर्फ आपको Indian Reels, not even Reels, something very similar to Indian मिलेगा. जैसे you remember जोश ऐप आई थी, या बीच में और 2-4 apps आई थी. Would you switch to that app to watch short video content? Would you install a new app to watch something similar like Instagram Reels? The answer is no. भाई नहीं आएगा. Very clear, right? Very clear. That's an entry barrier for new competitors. समझो. Now Instagram has created a habit. Nobody will get out of the comfort zone, right? Now, Instagram has created that switching cost. The cost of people to go to a new app, learn its user interface, ki like kaise hota hai, share kaise hota hai, how do I select a video, how do I upload, how do I watch, what is the algorithm, how do I follow. I am already following 5,000 people on Instagram. अब मैं नई में जाऊंगा. If I go to a new app, I have to now start from the scratch, finding my favorite creators, finding celebrities, finding my funny meme pages. सब ढूंढना पड़ेगा मुझे फिर से. कौन इतनी मेहनत करेगा? The switching cost. to switch now is so high कि भाई there is no competition, there is no entry for somebody for against Instagram. What a classic money minting business. भाई इतनी बड़ी switching cost बना दी आपने. And you create switching costs how? मैं आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता हूँ. How do you create a high switching cost? कैसे बनती है switching cost? Let me see. आप लोग कितना बिजनेस समझते हो? How do you create a high switching cost? Think and answer. How do you create a high switching cost? What is the tool to create a high switching cost? गलतों का आंसर तो भी give it in the chat. Exam थोड़ी ना है. It's just a classroom. You can share your thoughts freely. You can be wrong as much as you want. I don't think I pick people who give wrong answers because it's a classroom. We are here to learn. So answer ekdam freely, whatever you think. By making people addicted to the product just like Geo. प्रेम ये तो हो गया आपका फिलोसफिकल आंसर. थ्योरेटिकल आंसर सही है. आई एम सेइंग वो टूल क्या है, वो क्या चीज से आप स्विचिंग कॉस्ट बनाते हो. थ्रू इंटरनेट एडवांसमेंट इन टेक्नोलॉजी. नो विष्णु, नो. अगेन आई एम सेइंग वो कौन सा टूल है, टूल जिससे आप स्विचिंग कॉस्ट बनाओ. एक्सपीरियंस नहीं. Take example of Instagram, take example of Microsoft, take example of YouTube. चलो मैं easy करता हूँ. Let me make it easier to reach that answer. Can I make an app copy paste like Instagram? Instagram जैसी copy paste app क्या मैं बना सकता हूँ? Can I legally make an app copy paste like Instagram? Can I do that? वहीं पे डबल टैप लाइक, वहीं पे छोटा सा दिल ऑन द राइट कॉर्नर, फॉलो, सेव. कैन आई मेक एग्जैक्टली कॉपी पेस्ट ऐप? Absolutely, Priyanshi. Now you're given the right answer. I can't do that. Naina, I can't do that, right? Neeraj, I can't do. Shruti, I can't do. Why? Because they have patents. भाई उनके पास intellectual property right. Why can nobody make? भाई इतना एडवांस हो गया है. चैट जीपीटी, ड्राइवरलेस कार आ गई है. देयर इज अ ड्राइवरलेस कार, बिना ड्राइवर की गाड़ी चलती है. महिंद्रा इज डूइंग दैट. नॉट इवन फ्यूचर. You will see Mahindra's cars are driverless. You go on the highway, you sit down, वो अपने गाड़ी चलती है highway. You are in the future. The technology is mind-boggling advanced. पर nobody can make something like a Microsoft Excel. कोई और बना ही नहीं पा रहा है. कैसे possible है? Nobody is able to make an iPhone. कैसे possible? भाई iPhone कैसे नहीं कोई बना पा रहा है? Why can't people? The technology is so people are making folding phones. Folding phone आ गया है. There are televisions as big as my wall. Technology is so huge. It's so advanced. But nobody can make an iPhone. वो सिर्फ Apple ही बना पा रहा है. कैसे possible है यार? इतनी टेक्नोलॉजी है. Nobody is able to make a Microsoft Excel जैसा सॉफ्टवेयर. तो मैं तो चैट जीपीटी में जाके कोड लिख सकता हूँ to make a Microsoft Excel. But nobody is able to do that. Why? Because they've created a switching cost based on their intellectual property right. भाई patent बना लिया. And they say you can't copy what we are doing. Nobody can replicate. We have proprietary rights to make something like this, and we have made customer habitual to it. इसको बोलते हैं power of intellectual rights. This is switching cost. It is not experience. It is not habit. वो तो बनेगी. But the thing that is helping you from protecting you from new people copying you is patents is intellectual property. ये entry barrier है. Entry barrier है भाई, कोई और नहीं कर सकता. You have proprietary rights to that technology. You have proprietary rights to that something that's very particular to you. Switching cost. Is it clear? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, yes, no, kuch chat में. So that I know. Now you get what I'm saying. Yes? Awesome. Brand identity. Brand identity. एक simple सा आपको example है. ठीक है, I'll give you a simple example. We'll come to the solutions also. Very good question. Thank you so much. How do you break that switching cost? We'll come to the solutions. पहले problem समझते हैं, फिर solution पे आते हैं. Okay? Now, brand identity. Let me give you a simple example from your daily life. You have to buy 1 kg kaju ki barfi खरीदनी. You have to buy a kaju barfi 1 kg. Okay? You have two options. Your parents say, go get 1 kg kaju barfi and should be fresh. Fresh lana. Check and bring fresh kaju barfi 1 kg. You go to the market and you see here there is a shop, sweet shop, which is a random local sweet shop. It's selling kaju barfi for 500 rupees kg. Because normal shop is brand normal है, selling for 500 rupees. And 2 shops ahead there is Haldiram's. Abhi Haldiram's is selling kaju barfi for 610 rupees. 110 रुपए महंगा बचा. Now your parents have said, भाई fresh लाना, हमारे guest आ रहे हैं, so bring fresh काजू कतली, थोड़ा अच्छी quality fresh काजू कतली ला. कहाँ से लोगे? कहाँ से? Where will you buy that काजू कतली? You have guests coming. You have to get good quality, right? You have to get kaju barfi 1 kg. Your parents have said fresh kaju katli लेके आओ. कहाँ से लाओगे? Will you buy it from a local shop, random local shop, 500 rupees kg, or will you buy a branded kaju barfi for 610 rupees? Which one will you buy? Most likely you will go with a Haldiram. क्यों भाई? Somebody, okay, so this is if local shop kaju katli looks fresh. अब मैं आपको both, I'll tell you what your brain is doing. What is your brain doing? I said local shop kaju barfi, branded shop Haldiram 610. I never said Haldiram barfi is fresh. मैंने तो बोला ही नहीं. I did not even tell कि fresh थी या नहीं थी Haldiram. I just said 610 rupees की. I said it is Haldiram's Kaju Katli, 610 rupees. I never said it was fresh or it was not fresh. But you still chose branded barfi. Your brain told you, bhai branded le lo. Fresh ही होगी. It has to be fresh, it is branded. I never told Haldiram was a fresh barfi. मैं तो सिर्फ प्राइस बताया आपको. Why did you choose Haldiram? My question to you is, I never said it was fresh. I just gave you the price. You automatically thought Haldiram है fresh होगा. Quality होगी. It will be a better option to buy from Haldiram. That's called brand identity, my friend. That is called brand identity. A brand identity is a barrier for new companies. If I am a new sweet shop, or let's say I'm even that local shop, people are not going to buy from me because दो दुकान छोड़ के हल्दीराम खुला हुआ है. If it's fresh, it's not fresh, it's whatever quality है नहीं है, people are still buying from Haldiram like it's free. People are not coming to me because they have brand identity. Now, if your business can create that brand identity, then you are creating a barrier for new companies. That is what is happening. brand बना दो अगर, if any product you can create a brand out of it, you stop new businesses from competing with you. That is called brand identity as an entry barrier to remove threat of new entrants. You understand this? The brain is playing with you. The brand is playing with you. Yes or no is absolutely saying they have to maintain quality as well. They are maintaining quality, that's why they are a brand, right? तो ब्रांड बनाने के लिए मेहनत लगे. It's not like कि भाई ऐसी ब्रांड बना दिया. They're giving you quality, they're giving you services. It's an AC shop, speak and spam, drinking water, बैठ के खाने की जगह है. हलवाई के पास नहीं है, लोकल शॉप के पास नहीं है वो सब. That's why they charge more money. That's why they have created that brand. That's also creating an entry barrier for new brands. The last entry barrier is distribution channel. Distribution channels. Okay, very good. Let me ask you a simple question. Classic is Coca-Cola, Pepsi example, but let me give you a different example. Because let me give you a very, very, very different example. How many of you use shampoo? Shampoo use करते हो? Which shampoo do you use? Which shampoo do you use? Sunsilk होगा, Head and Shoulders होगा, Clinic Plus, 3-4 तो ब्रांड है. Dove यूज कर लेते हो ज्यादा से ज्यादा. L'Oreal, Clinic Plus, right? Head and Shoulder. Designers use a Nile, medicated shampoo use हो रहा है, ठीक है? Now, while you're using all these shampoos, the question is, खरीदते कहाँ से हो? A Clinic Plus, a L'Oreal, a Nile, a Head and Shoulder, a Sunsilk. Where do you buy this shampoo from? कहाँ से खरीदते हो? Local shop से खरीद लेंगे. Any local shop is selling this shampoo. Wherever you are living in India, irrespective of the city, the size of your city, the size of your town, big, small, remote, urban, local, कहीं भी हो आप इंडिया में, आपको ये मिल जाएंगे. You will buy a Nile, a Sunsilk, Head and Shoulder, a L'Oreal, a Clinic Plus. Online मिल जाएगा. If you're not getting on the shop, you can order online. घर पे आके लेके जाएगा. Now, if I am a new shampoo brand, think about this, my friend. If I am a new shampoo brand, very, very good quality shampoo brand, price point एक number, 99 rupees का shampoo है मेरा. I am selling shampoo at 99 rupees. It is all medicated, checked by US medication department. सारे certification है मेरे पास. I have every possible certification that my shampoo is medicated and my price point is 99 rupees. I am a shampoo company. Will I be successful if I have to reach every Indian? The answer is, भाई पहुंचोगे कैसे लोगों तक? The existing shampoo companies are deep into India. Every damn local shop. The distribution of these companies is just crazy level penetration of an Indian market. You go to the smallest, the remotest town, वहाँ जाके बोलो shampoo ले दो. They will give you a Clinic Plus or a Sunsilk or a Head and Shoulder. कोई ना कोई branded shampoo ही देंगे. Local shampoo कोई नहीं देगा. You go to the remotest place. I can challenge you. जितनी छोटे टाउन में जा सकते हो जाओ. And just go to a local shop and say shampoo ले दो. They will most likely give you a branded shampoo. कोई local company का shampoo नहीं देगा. Generally. Why? Because that is the distribution power the existing companies have. The distribution they have is crazy. A new person, a new brand, how good they can be. The price point, the branding, A1, भाई साहब बहुत ही शानदार स्ट्रैटेजी है, पर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं है। हर इंडियन तक पहुंचने की पावर स्ट्रेंथ नहीं है। Your business will have an entry barrier. That's an entry barrier. The distribution channel is an entry barrier. They, a Flipkart and Amazon charges almost 40% of your revenue to list your product online. 40% 40% तक का margin खाते हैं वो आपसे, which is okay. They're giving you access to India. They're giving you access to logistics. उसके पैसे लगते हैं. They are here to do business. They are here to make profit. धर्मशाला नहीं खोली हम, but still, it's costly. So a new company जिसका margin ही 50% है, so margin is 50%, 60%, 40% आप Amazon, Flipkart को दे दोगे, 20% आपके पास बचा, उसमें से you have operational cost, ऑफिस चलाना, खुद की गाड़ी चलाना, खुद के लोग expenses हैं. It is very difficult to do business for a new entrant in getting to an online. You think क्या दिक्कत है? Amazon पे बेच दूंगा, free थोड़ी ना Amazon. There are entry barriers to new entrants. Okay. Customer strength. The second competitive force for Michael Porter is customer strength. If the customer is very strong, तो आपको दबना पड़ेगा as a business. A customer is very strong. What is customer is very strong? I can explain it to you. You are a chartered accountant. Think about this. I'm giving an example. You are a chartered accountant and you get a big contract from a big company. बहुत बड़ी company है. They have a turnover of 500 crores. And they say, okay, Mr. Y, you are a chartered accountant. We want your services. We want you to create our accounting process पूरा, and we will pay you 1 crore rupees. 1 करोड़ रुपए का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आपको मिलता है कि हमारी कंपनी का पूरा अकाउंटिंग प्रोसेस बना. Like, yes, sir, fantastic. I will do whatever you say. You are one of my biggest customers. यही गड़बड़ होगी. Now your customer has more strength because they are so big for your business. You will do everything possible to keep them satisfied. Now the customer has a strength. The customer has a strength. Okay. If your majority revenue comes from a customer, that customer has a strength. The customer has the power to exploit your business. Now the customer, after 3 months, they will say, Mr. Y, अच्छा काम कर रहे हो, you're doing a great job. Though it is not part of the contract, but can you also create our taxation process? क्योंकि accounting और taxation साथ में जाएगा, invoicing वगैरह होता है. There's a lot of invoicing work that happens. Why don't you integrate a tax process also into the accounting process that you're making? आप कहोगे सर उसकी तो cost होती है, मतलब our contract was only accounting. Now you're saying कि भाई मेरे को आप tax का काम भी करके दे दो, tax process. That will come at a cost. Customer says, देखो, my budget was 1 crore rupees I have given. Abhi, if you can do that tax wala thing, good for me. Otherwise, I will get somebody else. किसी और से पूछ लेता हूँ, सस्ते में कर देगा. What will you do? क्या करोगे? What will you do, my friend? Mr. Y हो आप, क्या करोगे? What will you do? I want you to answer on the chat. What will you do in this situation? Answers on the chat, please. Your customer is asking for more. You will cut out your cost. You will eventually do that work without charging more money. You will have to do that work, my friend. वो टैक्स का काम आपको करना पड़ेगा बिना पैसे चार्ज किए, because इतना बड़ा कस्टमर थोड़ी ना खोलोगे. You will not lose such a big customer. You will still oblige. That's called customer strength, my friend. So 3 times a customer can have more power than you is one, when the customer has more information. If the buyer is well informed about your products and substitutes and alternatives, if the customer does not fear going to the alternatives, they are well informed about the product, the sources, the substitutes, then the buyer has more advantage. If the buyer are the major purchaser in the industry, if that buyer is your biggest customer, they have an advantage. If the product importance, right? If the industry's product is not very important, तब भी customer has an advantage. भैया आप जो बेच रहे हो कुछ ऐसा मैजिकल सामान नहीं बेच रहे. If you are not selling something which is very crucial and important for the customer has an advantage, my friend. Customer के पास 3 time advantage है. If they are aware of the alternatives, if they are biggest customer for you, and 3, if your product is not very important for them. तो भाई buyer के पास advantage. If you have to visit a hospital, then you have no power. Even though you are the customer, ना आपके पास भाई information है, ना आपके पास significant आप spender हो, and neither, and probably this product is now very crucial for you. Hospital में तो भाई आप हाथ जोड़ के खड़े हो, जो पैसे लेने ले लो. तो customer strength change हो जाएगी. But customer strength is reversed when all these 3 are in your favor as a customer, which was the case we were talking about. Right? Now, big basket. अब बिग बास्केट के साथ प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि भाई alternatives हैं. तो customer is more powerful. They can go to any other app. There are alternatives available. The product is not very ऐसे important. सब्जी पानी है भाई दुकान से ले आएंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. If tomorrow big basket ends their business or starts charging 2 rupees extra, I'm not going to buy from big basket. Simple. If big basket tomorrow says, oh, your delivery is 100 rupees, like delete कर दूंगा मैं app. I will go and buy myself. कोई important नहीं है मेरे लिए ये product. So the problem with big basket is the customer is more powerful. The problem with Ch2 is the customer is more powerful. Right? Product का alternatives है. It's not like कि भाई Ch2 नहीं होगा तो my life will stop. No, I will go by myself, baby. Right? And the third one is significant. I am not one of the biggest customers. मैं तो कुछ नहीं उनके लिए मैं इतनी importance क्यों दूँ? और वो मुझे इतनी importance क्यों देंगे? If I buy 1,000 rupees product every month, they have 10 lakh customers. I'm not very important for them. They will also not care about me. So I'm not. So probably I can just take a decision. but क्या फर्क पड़ता? Right? That is customer strength. An alternative to this is supplier's strength. अब reverse हो जाए. Companies like pharma, companies like semiconductors, भाई semiconductor बनाने वाली companies और companies which are making medicines, यहाँ पे supplier के पास कस्टमर को तो कोई नॉलेज ही नहीं है. कौन सी दवाई, what salt, what chemistry, what biology, भाई I have no clue. If doctor tells me buy this medicine, I go and give to chemist, मुझे ये दे. None of us starts reading, oh, what medicine, what does it do, which salt, what are the alternatives, what price, what company. कोई डॉक्टर ने लिख दिया सन फार्मा की टैबलेट नंबर Zydus 1000 mg ले लो, I go and buy that. Supplier has the power. Semiconductor, लैपटॉप तो मुझे लेना ही पड़ेगा. I don't have an option. उसके अंदर semiconductor they will eventually have. I don't have an option. The supplier will decide my fate. The supplier will decide whether I am ready for a new technology or not. I can't decide. I can't go and tell Samsung कि अरे ये क्या टच स्क्रीन वाला लैपटॉप क्यों नहीं निकाल. Like मेरे को decide. आप customer हो गए. I am supplier. I am the king of the industry. I don't need your feedback or मैं बना लूँ. जब when I introduce, then you buy. You are a customer, but I have the power. तो यहाँ पे the power is in the hand of the supplier. Same with schools, hospitals. These are businesses where the seller has more. अब स्कूल की फीस बढ़ गई तो you can't go and say नहीं हम कल से स्कूल नहीं आएंगे. कहेंगे बताओ. If your college, you are in a, let's say in a private college, you spend 1 lakh rupees every semester is the fee, and you say nahi, I will not buy, I will go to some other college. You are very costly. I say okay, please go. I have ample people waiting in line. I have so many people waiting in line to come to my college. I don't care about you one as a customer, because I as a supplier have more power. I as the business running that college have more power. So that is the another force. If you're doing a business, if you're into an industry where you as the business owner have more power, you can make more money. It is easier to make more money. It is easier to exploit the potential of the business. So क्या मैं ऐसे business में जाना चाहूँगा? Would I want to go into a business where I as the business have more strength and power? The answer is yes. That will be my motive. भाई ऐसा business करो जहाँ पे I am not customer के हाथ जोड़ के खड़ा. Customer is standing in front of me folding hands. Please give me your product. I need your product. I'm like हाँ देते हैं. ये price है लेने तो लो. That's the suppliers like medicines, hospitals, schools, colleges, electricity. Do you have an option कि कहाँ से बिजली खरीदनी है? नहीं. एक ही supplier है, वही देगा. Whatever money they charge, you will have to buy. Do you have an option to buy gas pipeline or a cylinder? No. One to clear. You will either go to Indian, you will either go to Reliance, or you will go to some other. एक दो options हैं आपके पास. But you need cooking gas. You need LPG. You need a gas pipeline. देना पड़ेगा. Suppliers in Jio, Airtel और तीसरा कोई option है ही नहीं. If they charge 3,000 rupees for an annual pack, 3,000 रुपए का annual pack है. Can you and me as a customer go and say, हम नहीं कर रहे phone use, too costly, I will not use your internet. They say, don't use. What other option do you have? You have no other option, my friend. You will have to spend 3,000 rupees. So every time you go to select a pack for your mobile smartphone, you will compare and think concept. No use. तीसरा कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है दोस्त. सप्लायर के पास स्ट्रेंथ होती है. 3 times the supplier will have a strength is their product are crucial to the buyer and substitutes are not available. The supplier has power. They can erect high switching cost. Switching cost बढ़ा देंगे. नहीं चाहिए इंटरनेट कोई बात. आज से कॉस्ट बढ़ा दी हमने. देखो आप क्या कर सकते हैं. You can't do anything. They are more concentrated than their buyers. Yes, obviously, Airtel, Jio, दो ही option है. They're more buyers are 150 crore. Cell phone company, two ones. 2 companies giving internet and mobile SIM cards to entire India. कर लो जो करना. As a customer, जो कर सकते हो करो. Nobody's gonna listen. That is the power of the supply. That is where big businesses make money. That is where huge business conglomerates want to invest. If I am an investor, मैं तो भाई लगाऊंगा Airtel और Reliance में. I would put money in Jio and Airtel because the customer को तो वो ऐसे arm twist कर सकते. They can arm twist the customer because they have suppliers. So from a business perspective, it is wonderful. From a customer point of view, it is very painful, right? What is five forces model? कैसे business में invest करूं? Which business would you want to invest? Which business would you want to start? Where you see suppliers. But wherever there will be supplier strength, there will be threat of or there will be entry barrier also. भाई क्यों आने देंगे कोई नए player को? They will want to make money themselves, right? You have to understand all of these together. Another important aspect is rivalry amongst competitors. Example लेता हूँ. Okay? Example लेता हूँ. You go to a business. Okay, let's say you want to start a business of making biscuits, cookies बनाने आपको. ठीक है जी? You want to make choco chip cookies which are sugar free, very healthy. आज आप जो भी कुकीज खाते थे टू स्वीट, बहुत ज्यादा चीनी है, बहुत ज्यादा चॉकलेट है, मन नहीं करता है. So you say, why don't I introduce cookies which are sugar free and very tasty and healthy? People want to eat. You say, very good. All अच्छा business. Let's go. You figure out that by the existing companies doing a sugar free, like a Nutri Choice or a Ragi biscuit or a sugar free biscuit category जो है, there are already 20 people doing and they're fighting fiercely. Price पे fight चल रहा है. 10 rupees का, 7 rupees का, 8 rupees का biscuit आ रहा है packet. The marketing is huge. Somebody is getting a Shah Rukh Khan, somebody is getting an Amitabh Bachchan, somebody is getting a Ranveer Singh to advertise their biscuits. Somebody is getting an Alia Bhatt to sell their biscuit. The price is 10 rupees, 8 rupees, 12 rupees. Alia Bhatt से ad करवा रहे हैं. They're doing campaigns. They're spending crazy money. The rivalry, the competition is absolutely fierce. Would you want to go into this industry? Would you want to go into this industry? The answer is no. But already इतनी competition है, already it is so tough for existing players who already have so much money. I would be like kicked out of the business in 20 minutes. So you have to understand what is the position of the industry. What's the rivalry amongst competitors? Now, how do you understand the rivalry amongst competitors? How do you analyze the rivalry amongst competitors? Is figure out if there is an industry leader, right? Maybe वहां पे prices ज्यादा fight नहीं हुआ. Why? क्योंकि एक leader है. But if there is no leader, that means सब लड़ रहे हैं leader बनने के लिए. An industry where there is no big leader, identify नहीं होगा है. सब एक जैसे दिख रहे हैं. Everybody is looking like everybody is doing a decent business. कोई एक बड़ी कंपनी नहीं दिख रही है मुझे. That means the competition is crazy. Everybody is fighting to be number one. अभी तक number one defined नहीं हुआ. And if there is no number one defined as yet, that means everybody is fighting to be number one. The competition is fierce. Understand? Number two, number of competitors. A lot of people are doing it. ये बहुत लोग कर रहे हैं. I said, maybe stay away from the industry if you are not passionate about it. But again, let's take example of creators. आज हम सबको we all want to be an influencer. We all want to be a social media creator. We all feel क्या जबरदस्त business है, right? Making money, traveling the world, wearing cool clothes, fame है, नाम है, पैसा है. Is there an industry leader in a creator segment? Maybe no. आज कोई है, कल कोई और है. There were some guy was famous 3 years back. Today we don't even remember that person, right? So the industry leader keep changing. Industry leaders in social media keep changing. So that means the competition is fierce. बहुत मुश्किल है यहाँ पे जीतना. Number of competitors are huge. Every home, हर कोई phone लगा के videos बना के they are posting. Number of competitors is huge. Fixed cost. Everybody wants good quality video. आपको अच्छा कैमरा चाहिए. You want an editing software. You will need a laptop, a camera, a mic, light system, editing software. You will need time. पैसा घूमने जाओगे, पैसा चाहिए आपको वीडियो बनाने के लिए. You can't just stay home. People want to see. People want to create good studios. 10-12 लाख रुपए लगेंगे आपको स्टूडियो बनाने में, right? The fixed cost is huge. It's not easy to just become a creator these days. The exit barrier, right? Few exit barriers to higher profitability, right? That means कि अगर competitor जल्दी से exit नहीं कर पा रहे because they are already invested. If people cannot exit the business quickly, that means competition fears them. Every creator से यार मैं 2 साल try करूँ. I will give it 2 years. If things don't work, I will do something else. Now, after 2 years, people think, yeah, I have spent 2 years, maybe अब एक video viral होगी and I will be famous. Maybe the next one, maybe the next one, maybe the next one. आप निकल ही नहीं पा रहे उससे. You're not able to exit that thing. It's difficult for you to exit. That you're emotionally attached to that business. That means competition is going to be fierce because लोग निकल ही नहीं रहे हैं. They're not successful, but they're still not exiting. They are not successful, but they're still not exiting. That means the rivalry is going to be very fierce. कोई exit ही नहीं करता, तो हमें तो चांस ही नहीं मिलेगा या कम मिलेगा. Product differentiation. क्या differentiation करोगे? The differentiation on for creators is so difficult. If somebody somewhere in the world is doing everything that you think of, आप सोचते हो यार मैं कॉफी के ऊपर क्रिएटर बनूं, 10,000 creators are talking about coffee. You think about मैं कल से स्टेशनरी का क्रिएटर बनूंगा. I will talk about good stationery. I will buy good stationery and do a review video. कोई कर रहा है, already कर रहा होगा, right? Product differentiation ही मुश्किल है. But it can only protect if you find it, then the rivalry becomes less. But यहाँ पे इंडस्ट्री में डिफरेंशिएशन मुश्किल है, तो राइवलरी बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है. एंड लास्ट इज स्लो ग्रोथ. यू सी यार इंडस्ट्री में ग्रोथ इतनी स्लो है, बाप रे, इट्स नॉट इवन अट्रैक्टिव टू बी इन दैट बिजनेस. So you're analyzing industry's rivalry, the competition in the industry based on certain factors, and then you analyze whether you want to be in that industry or not. Do you understand this? Give me a big yes, okay, no, whatever you want. Do you understand this? Absolutely. Great. Almas, very good. Thank you for giving a yes. Everybody else, I know you're saying yes. You're just too lazy to type. That's okay. Okay, the final thing is threat of substitutes in my report. Like threat of substitutes, kya? Threat of substitute means there is somebody who is giving a substitute. चाय का कॉफी, आप चाय बना रहे हो तो कॉफी बना रहे हो. आप लेमोनेड बना रहे हो, somebody will make a juice. If there are substitutes available for your product, maybe you will have to get into a price war or a differentiation, or you will have to create a barrier for people not switching cost banani padegi. If you have substitutes available for your product, so either you will have to drop your prices so that log substitute ke paas na jaye, or you will have to differentiate your product so much that people don't go to a substitute, or you will have to create entry barriers for the substitutes. Classic example is चाय का बिजनेस आज भी कॉफी से बड़ा है इंडिया में. चाय का बिजनेस आज भी कॉफी से बड़ा है in India. Why? Because price point. You can still get a tea for 10 rupees on the streets, but coffee नहीं मिलेगी आपको. Coffee you will get for 50, 60, 70, 80, 100. Right? So chai आज भी, even though the substitute is available, but the price point is where tea wins. आप कल को कॉफी निकाल दो 10 रुपए की. A lot of young crowd will switch to coffee. If you start selling coffee for 10 rupees, I can tell you, not all, but a lot of people will switch to coffee. I'm not saying चाय एकदम बंद हो जाएगी, but बहुत बड़ा share will young people will switch to coffee because coffee is an aspirational drink. You feel कि भाई मैं तो कॉफी पीता हूँ चाय नहीं पीता. I'm a bit cool. I drink coffee. I don't drink tea. Aspirational product, right? So people will switch, and that substitute of tea is not winning over tea because of the price. That's the only thing that people are probably sticking to tea is एक तो availability at low price है. दूसरा probably you think कि थोड़ा cultural segment है, but I can guarantee a price point for a lot of people. That is what I think. So threat of substitutes को beat करने के लिए either you use price as a strategy, you differentiate, or you create entry barriers of capital requirement, distribution. किसी ना किसी तरीके से entry barrier बना. With that, we've reached 8:30, the break time for us. We just left with two small topics, right? आधे घंटे में हो जाएंगे, and the chapter 2 will be done. What we'll do right now is we will take a quick 10 minutes break. It's 8:30. We will be back 8:40. Go freshen up, get yourself some drink, and we will be back in 10 minutes and we start with industry attractiveness. Okay, see you at 8:40. WhatsApp group link. All queries probably can be sent on the BOS app, Ask a Query. I don't think so. We have a WhatsApp group as yet for strategic management, but you can send your queries on the BOS app, right? And happy to answer them. Industry attractiveness, my friend. I'll just wait for 30 seconds. Maybe if you can hear me, be back. If you're back, give me a yes, okay, thumbs up, so that I know that we are back and I can start. Great, awesome. Thank you, Swati, Prem, Shruti. Awesome. Okay, Almas, thank you. Good to see you back. We're talking about industry attractiveness. Simple, if I have to explain what is industry attractiveness is, will I make money in this industry? Will I make money in this business? Is my simple question if I want to start anything. If I want to start anything, my simple question is, Bhaiya, will I make money? How do I ensure? How do I get to know if I will make money in this business or not? Is one, growth potential. Is the industry's future growth sustainable and promising? Are you growing industry then? Is it growing industry? Life cycle. I will look at the industry life cycle. Number two, current and future competition. Are current competitive conditions favorable for profitability and will they get stronger or weaker? The Porter 5 forces model देखूंगा आज कितना strong the competition is and will it only get stronger or will it get weaker in the coming years? ये मैं check करूंगा by reading the Porter's 5 forces of competition. Then I will figure out the driving forces. How will prevailing industry forces impact profitability? Now, how will the existing industry force impact my profitability? Will I make more money? Will I start losing money because people would come in, industry forces will come in, price war हो जाएगी, differentiation आ जाएगा, government regulation आ जाएगी, क्या होने वाला है? What are the driving forces of me making money in that industry? मुझे वो पहचानना. Competitive position. What's the organization's competitive standing? Are we the leaders? Are we the followers? Are we somebody who is a weak competition? I have somebody who is bigger than me, somebody who is lower than me. What is my competitive position? मुझे वो पहचानना. If I'm weak, I will not make money. If I'm strong, I will make money. So I have to figure out who am I in the industry. Am I a leader, a follower, a nobody, a somebody? मुझे वो industry में ढूंढना है, right? That's what we call in management. Are you nobody in the business? Are you somebody in the business? Or you are everybody in the business? You have to figure out that. That's your competitive standing of your business in the industry. Exploiting weak rivals. Yeah, can the company leverage weaker rivals' vulnerabilities for opportunities? Is it possible for you to capture the chota competitors' markets? If yes, then it is attractive. Yes, भाई. Business दूसरों का आप buy out करके अपना business बड़ा करते जाओ. Why not? It's a good strategy. Defense mechanism क्या है? Can the company defend against industry unattractive forces? Can you defend yourself with the distribution? Can you defend yourself with brand identity? Can you defend yourself against differentiation? Can you defend yourself versus a customer strength? Yes or no? And finally is risk and uncertainty. कितना risk है इस industry? Is it a risky industry or is it a risk-free industry? They will decide whether you will make good money, decent money, or no money in the industry. The industry attractiveness will be considered using these 6 components. One, the growth potential of the industry, the current and the future competition available in the industry. What are the driving forces of profitability in the industry? What is the competitive position of your business in the industry? Can you exploit weak rivals? Can you defend yourself against competitive forces like Michael Porter's forces? And how risky the industry is? कितनी risky industry है? Is it risky? Is it risky? Is it कम risky या बहुत risky industry है? ये आपको decide. That will decide the attractiveness of the business, whether you will make good money, no money, or decent. Okay? Now, there was a very interesting question when we started Michael Porter's 5 forces. The question that came was, इनका solution क्या है? What is the solution to all of these problems? How do I defend against the rivalry? How do I defend myself against all of these challenges? The answer is chapter 3 and chapter 4. चैप्टर 2 में आपके मन में क्वेश्चन आना चाहिए कि यार व्हाट यू टीचिंग इज राइट. ये प्रॉब्लम तो है, देखो इंडस्ट्री में ये सब चैलेंजेस, नॉट प्रॉब्लम्स बट चैलेंजेस तो है, रियलिटी है. एंट्री बैरियर होगा, कस्टमर स्ट्रेंथ विल बी हायर, समटाइम्स द सप्लायर स्ट्रेंथ विल बी हायर, देयर विल बी राइवलरी, देयर विल बी प्राइस वॉर, देयर विल बी स्विचिंग कॉस्ट, देयर विल बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन चैलेंजेस, देयर विल बी ऑल ऑफ दीज फोर्सेस ऑफ कंपटीशन इन द इंडस्ट्री होनी है. बट इनसे लड़े कैसे? हाउ डू आई फाइट अगेंस्ट देम? हाउ डू आई सॉल्व फॉर दीज चैलेंजेस? सवाल मन में तो आ रहा है, मन में सवाल तो आ रहा है. एंड इसका आंसर बहुत ही सिंपल है. द आंसर इज चैप्टर 3 and 4 में. चैप्टर 3 and 4 विल टीच अस हाउ टू वर्क अराउंड दीज चैलेंजेस. इन चैलेंजेस को ओवरकम कैसे करें? चैप्टर 3 and 4 to give you a gist, to give you some idea कि क्या पढ़ेंगे. We will talk about core competencies, we will talk about competitive advantage, we will talk about cost leadership, we will talk about differentiation strategy, we will talk about market penetration, we will talk about vertical integration, we will talk about conglomerate, we will talk about concentric diversification, we will talk about focused niche market. इन सब challenges से लड़ने के लिए, to solve for all these challenges available in the market, what should be my strategy is something what we need in chapter 3 and 4. And now your base is ready. विजन क्यों चाहिए? विजन, मिशन, गोल, ऑब्जेक्टिव चैप्टर 1 में क्यों चाहिए? ताकि you can probably figure out कि भाई मुझे करना क्या है. What is my strategy? Where do I want to be? When you figure out where you want to be, then you figure out, do I really want to do this? Is it really money making? What are the challenges I will face in the future? क्या challenges face करूंगा future में if I plan to do this? That is chapter 2. Chapter 3 is decide कर लिया है, यही करना है. How will I solve for it? That is chapter 3 and 4. Okay. Very nice. कंपेटिटर के बारे में पढ़ रहे हैं, कंपटीशन के बारे में पढ़ रहे हैं. अनदर important aspect is customer. I don't have to teach this topic to you, you know it already. Customer is the queen or the king, right? You have to understand customer behavior. आपको सिर्फ एक चीज समझनी है as a business person, the customer behavior. When do they buy? Where do they buy? What price do they buy? How do they buy? And for whom do they buy? कहाँ खरीदते हैं? मॉल में खरीदते हैं, ऑनलाइन खरीदते हैं, शॉप में खरीदते हैं. Where do customers buy my product? Where do customers buy my product? Are they buying online? Are they buying in the local shop? Are they going to the mall to buy my product? Is somebody gifting them that product? क्या वो गिफ्टिंग मटेरियल है मेरा प्रोडक्ट? खरीदता कौन है? किस प्राइस पे खरीदता है? क्यों खरीद? Why are they even buying my product? What price point suits them? What is the use case? And किसके लिए खरीदते हैं? Are they buying for self consumption? Are they buying for their kids consumption? Are they buying for their spouse's consumption? Or are they just buying to gift it to somebody? I have to understand the customer behavior, and that is where my entire product strategy will come into the picture. Very simple topic. I don't think I should get into details. You know what I'm talking. Customer is the queen or the king. Customer decision कैसे लेता है? How does a customer take a decision or make a decision to buy your product is one external influence. You wake up in the morning, you open the newspaper, you open Instagram, you open YouTube, you open whatever app you use, InShots, Google News, एक ad pop. And it tells you, अच्छा ये भी हो रहा है, वो ये नया प्रोडक्ट आया है, मार्केट में मिलेगा तो खरीदेंगे. Your friend tells you, oh, I bought this product, fantastic. You have external influences who are pushing you to go and buy a product or a service. Once that external force makes you aware of a product or a service, कि ये भी है, खरीद सकते हैं, नई चीज है, trending चीज है, then comes the internal influence, the psychological factors. I deserve this. I should buy this. This will look good on me. I can afford this. I should also buy this. Internal, you start motivating, you start convincing yourself. Then comes the decision-making process, right? It involves questioning yourself. आप अपने आप को question करना चालू करो. Do I really need it? क्या जरूरत है? Then you find alternatives. ये नहीं तो ये ले लेंगे, बात तो same. It does the same thing. Then you gather information. क्या प्राइस है, कहाँ से मिलता है, where can I buy, let's say if I have to buy, where will I buy, what is the price point, is it original, is it not original? You start the decision making process, and finally you decide to buy or not. If you decide to buy and you buy the product, your post decision making is either like, this was really worth it. So you go and buy it again, you recommend it to somebody else, you become somebody else's external influence. And if you decide not to buy, there can be two things. Either you're happier I did not buy it because it was not worth it, or you keep thinking, yaar, FOMO, FOMO हो जाएगा, the fear of missing out आ जाएगा. Maybe I should just buy and see क्या होगा, लग जाएंगे 1000, 2000. I don't know, whatever product you think. So post decision making process. A business has to identify this chain and has to make sure that customer has all information and you are present at each of these stages. The business has to ensure you are available at all of these stages. Like examples is give me a big yes, okay in the chat if you're still active, and I will explain this with a very cool example which you use every single time you want to travel. Awesome. I get yeses. That means people are active. Okay. Very nice. How many of you have traveled with your family recently? कहीं भी गए, maybe it can be Haridwar, Rishikesh, Jaipur, Agra, Pollachi, or Kerala, Alleppey, Pondicherry, Assam, Mumbai, कहीं भी घूमने गए. Anyone of some of you would have just traveled, right? Maybe Mahakumbh गए हो घूमने, I don't know. Now what is happening? अब आप जब घूमने जा रहे हो, when you're planning to travel and you want to go and find a hotel. ऐसा होटल ढूंढना, what a crazy task when you want to travel. सबसे मुश्किल काम है होटल ढूंढना. इतने ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल है, समझ नहीं आता अच्छा होगा यार. Really tough task. Now a business person having a hotel, right? Now that person has to be available on all these 4 stages with you to make sure you book their room. वहां पे यार ये कैसे पॉसिबल है? मैं तो बैठा हूँ भाई साहब, यहाँ पे बैठा हूँ, मैं ऊपर हिमाचल में बैठा हूँ, मेरे को होटल बुक करना है आपका केरला में। हाउ विल बिजनेस पर्सन बी एट ईच ऑफ these स्टेजेस विद मी? दे विल बी, दे विल बी। मैं बताता हूँ कैसे। You will see a lot of influencers on social media today posting stories, wonderful stay, hashtag hotel का नाम, ये tag hotels and resorts in their videos. You are on internet, you're getting external influence. You're getting recommendation, advertisement. If you're going to Kerala, the best resort I've been last month was this. वो पूरी वीडियो दिखाएगा and you're like हाँ अच्छा लग रहा है, बढ़िया लग रहा है। External influence किया उस होटल ने आप। By spending money on influencers and advertisements, they are externally influencing you to come to our property. Then you start getting an influence. In the ad itself, they give you, if you want to relax, stay with your parents, come to us. Now they're putting that thought with you. अब parents के साथ आ रहे हो तो हमारे पास आना. Psychologically, now you start thinking, अच्छा यार अकेला होता तो maybe I stay in a hostel or a mustache or a Airbnb वगैरह कर लेता. I'm going with my parents. Maybe they want more comfort. Let me just book a little costly hotel. Service वगैरह होगी, comfort होगा. Airbnb hostel मम्मी पापा के साथ. Internal influence created. They're pushing you psychologically, bringing your parents, come to us, more comfort. आपको influence करती है. Now you start thinking और क्या क्या options हैं, ये what are other options है, कितना price point है. Now this hotel has to have all its information on online portals. For you to make a decision, it should give you all information because now you're gathering information about this hotel. आपको influence किया externally, internally, you are starting to build कि हाँ let me book, but I want to know more. क्या facilities है? How far is it from the main location? How far is it from the metro or the local bus stand or a train station or an airport? Rooms कितने बड़े हैं? What are the facilities in the room? Do I get a kettle? Do I get an iron? Do I get a shower? Do I get a bathtub? खाना is breakfast included? Right? Breakfast में क्या क्या मिलता है सुबह? You start gathering information. Now, I as a business have to ensure कि आपको ये सारी information मिल रही. I have to be present on the internet to give you that information. I have to have my Google reviews updated. I have to be on online portals like Make My Trip, Agoda, Booking.com. इन सब मेरे को यात्रा पे, क्लियर ट्रिप पे, I have to be available on TripAdvisor. I have to be available on these websites. So I have to go and register on these websites so that the decision making of my customer is easy. That they figure out ये तो हर जगह अवेलेबल है, information I can read about them, उनकी वेबसाइट भी है, ये भी है. So I get that confidence कि हाँ they are present. ऐसा कोई फालतू होटल नहीं है. It's a well established hotel. They are present. I am helping you in decision making by giving you information. And finally, you book, you come, and I tell you, if you like this day, please Google review दे देना हमको. You would have heard a lot. Every hotel, every restaurant today says, please give us Google review. Why? Because post decision making, if you're satisfied, you will create so much external influence that people will get influenced in a cycle and they will start. Your experience becomes their selling point. That sells new customer, unka experience becomes another selling point. So now it becomes a customer decision-making cycle for them. External influence, internal influence, giving out information for decision-making and post-decision-making process. That is how you create, retain customers. The process of decision-making of a customer. Is this clear? You see what is happening. See what is happening. Theoretically, सब लिखा हुआ है. It's practically happening. We are doing it every single day. We don't even realize we are doing MBA. In practical, I'm not saying this subject, but Practically, we are doing all these strategies what businesses are using. We are part of that their strategy. Is it clear? Give me okay, thumbs up, yes. And we go to the last topic, which is key success factors. Now, key success factors are basically, as the name suggests, what are those few factors which will decide whether you will be successful as a business or not? वो कौन से factors हैं जो decide करेंगे whether you will be successful as a business or not? Those factors are called key success factors. 3 questions are पूछे अपने आप. As a business, you ask 3 questions. And if you have answers to these 3 questions, it is highly likely that you will be a successful business. If you have answers to these 3 questions, it is highly likely. Again, promise nahi hai, guarantee nahi hai, but it is highly likely that you will be successful as a business. Number 1, on what basis do customers choose between the competing brand of the sellers? What product attributes are crucial to sale? Customer किस basis पे product या service खरीदता है? Is it price? Is it quality? Is it the service? Is it the after sale service? किस basis पे customer is making a decision to either buy your product or the competitor's product? Taking the example of Haldiram. As a local sweet shop, मैं सोचूंगा यार कस्टमर तो डिसीजन ले रहा है ब्रांड के ऊपर. Maybe it is time for me to create my shop into a brand as well. My boxes should be branded, my name should be branded, my shop should be branded, my staff should be wearing a certain color uniform ताकि लगे यार ये मिठाई शॉप ये भी branded है. To give it a branding feel, I will also have to do all of this like Haldiram, right? So get into my shop, everybody's wearing a jacket, कोई एक special cap पहनी है, the colors are same, there's a branding, the boxes are printed and very nice printed boxes. And I charge customer for it, but I create a brand. If I figure out the decision making of the customer is based on branding, तो मुझे ये तो ढूंढना पड़ेगा. Number 1 question I have to figure out is जनता खरीद क्यों रही? Why is the person or customer buying the competitor's product or even my product? किस basis पे decision? Number 2, what resources and competitive capabilities does a seller need to be successful? Do I need talent? Do I need better quality products? Or my cost of service मेरे को कम करना? What resources and capabilities do I need? भाई branding तो कर लो कि पैसे हैं, time है, quality product है भी या नहीं? The resources and capabilities are available to you to deliver. Question number 1 is what you have to figure out. 3rd grade quality मिठाई है maybe, but brand बना गया. My food is not fresh. My sweets are not fresh. But I'm a brand. मैंने branding करके दुकान का branding कर दिया, नहीं चलेगा. Won't work. I have to think of these questions in conjunction. The decision making is based on brand, but do I have that capability and resource to create that brand like my competitor? That's the second question I have to answer. The third question I have to answer is, what does it take for sellers to achieve sustainable competitive advantage, something that can be sustained for long term? The third question I have to figure out is, जो मैं ऊपर question 1 और 2 में figure out कर रहा हूँ, is that long term or a short term 3-6 months की game है, उसके बाद I will be done. I will not sustain. My entire effort of question 1 and question 2 has to be long term. Should be sustainable, like a Tata 100 साल से maintain किया हुआ brand. Aditya Birla Group 30-50 years से maintain किया हुआ brand. Even for people like Shah Rukh Khan, over decades they have created their image and they are sustained over long term. It's not like Shah Rukh Khan 6 महीने famous था फिर खत्म. Elongation of your strategy. Why do customers prefer a particular movie? But it is good. Do I have this script? Do I have the capable actors to create that movie? Yes. Will I be able to create such movies forever? Multiple versions? या एक movie बना के dip कर जाऊं? That is key success. KSF. What is the customer's decision making? Do I have the resources and capabilities to deliver that? And can I keep it for the long term? ये 3 questions का answer ढूंढ लीजिए as a business, and it highly likely you will be successful. And these are called key success. I will upload the notes. You can go and read it, right? It's same what I was talking about, customer choices, resource, and long-term sustainable. It's the same thing. It's just theoretical. That's what KSFs are. And with that, my friend, we complete our chapter number 2 as promised today. The chapter number 2 is also complete. 1 is done, 2 is done. What I'll do now is I will open the session for questions and answers. Have questions, feel free, unmute yourselves, and I will unmute you probably. You raise your hand, I will unmute you. You have a question, ask on the chat. I'm happy to answer. We have ma'am in the session as well for any examination related query. We have ma'am to help you as well. Chapter 1 is done, 2 is done. Chapter 2, this notes I will upload today itself. I will also upload an assignment, right? The questions for practice from chapter 2. 1 is already uploaded. Chapter 2 assignment will be uploaded. Solve it. Practice it. And we will discuss it in the next session next week. So do that assignment which is uploaded. You will get that assignment back tomorrow. But today we will upload the notes. Okay? So practice that over the week. Read the study material and ask questions right now. Any doubt, anything that's bothering you, that's confusing you, feel free to ask. No question is a wrong question or a silly question. It's your classroom. Use it. But again, you have to study the study material. Notes are just for revision and just recalling you what we have studied. Exam will come from the study material. Please remember. Don't come complaining later कि exam में कुछ आया हमने पढ़ा नहीं, because exam comes from study material. The classes are to clear your concepts, to give you that background of what that concept is, why does it make sense, how decision making is done basis. So many examples we have talked about. The exam I study material. But any reputed brand was also local at its initial stage. Yeah, absolutely. Haldiram was a small, very small shop. Bikaner Wala was a very small shop. You pick up any brand, they started small. Everybody started small. Nobody started big. Over the years, they were sustainable strategies. They were so long-term in their vision. Yeah, I'm not here to do business for just 2 years. My value systems are strong. My intent to do business is so strong. I'm here for the long term. And that's why they are so successful. Every business was small. It's just the long-term mindset that has taken them so far.
Arjit,
Yes, ma'am.
please take that query yesterday, which we have received from Subhadeep Sinha. Yeah, please take that query in the class itself.
Sure, ma'am. Let me just open that query. Okay, awesome. So we got a question which said, uh, we have a confusion between values and strategic intent, right? What's the difference between both of these? Okay, now let me give you an example of what a value versus an intent is. Okay, now let's say the value and intent. Value is a broader concept. Intent is something, why do you want to do that business? While value is how you want to do that business. Okay. Okay. Now let's say you are opening a lemonade stand. Let's say you're opening a stand like we were talking about Nikki opening a lemonade stand. Your intent could be that you want to sell tasty lemonade so that people feel cool during summers. Your intent is very good that it's summers, people need something cold to drink, something cool to drink. I will make a healthy drink, which is lemonade, and I will sell that. That is my intent. The value of my business, the value system of my business is very simple. The value system is I will only use fresh lemons. I will use mineral water. My source of water for lemonade will be something which is fresh, right? My lemonades will be fresh. My water will be mineral water, right? That is, I will keep cleanliness around my stand. I will have a dustbin. These are my value systems. I want to do business, but my value system is that it will be done in the most ethical way. Cleanliness hogi, hygiene hoga, best quality products honge. That's my value. I want to deliver best to the customer. Well, the intent is I want to do this because I want to give an option to people to drink something healthy in the summers. That's the difference between intent and values. Go ahead. If you have any similar questions, any confusions in any of the concepts we have done in chapter 1, 2, both, you can ask that as well. Feel free to raise your hand as well. Happy to unmute and listen to you guys and answer that live. That's also something that's available. So use that opportunity. Otherwise, put your questions on the chat if you have anything. If not, very happy that things are clear. Okay. I think now we have no questions. I think pretty clear, but we do have assignment. So they'll be uploaded. Practice, 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 and study the study material, my friend. Okay. Okay. We see one hand. Finally, Priyanshi, I'm unmuting you. Go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, Priyanshi.
So my doubt is very basic level, which all the students might have, that this subject, particular this subject, is very, means the concepts are almost similar, almost. So we tend to get confused that what to write, what to not write, because everything seems similar. Everything means we are thinking as per customer's point of view, we are thinking as per supplier's point of view. Everything seems beneficial for per, particular person. So that seems so confusing, that what to write, are we correct or not, and all. So how to cope up with that?
Maybe let me answer that. What you're saying is absolutely right. It's very easy to get confused between concepts because everything is interlinked. I'll not say they are same. Okay? If you say the concepts are same, I would disagree, but I would say they are interlinked. Okay? Now, a vision leads to a strategic decision that leads to a competitive strategy that leads to a Michael Porter. So what we're doing is the chapters are flowing, the concepts are flowing in a way that everything gets interlinked, right? Because strategic management, like we said, it's a process. You evaluate, you implement, you control, you recheck, and you go back and implement again. To flow to hoga. That's how the subject is. To your question that I am getting confused here, kahan pe, which concept to write, what are they going to ask? My simple question to you is, Priyanshi, have you read previous year questions? Have you read what kind of questions come in the examination?
Not yet, but sir, when I gave foundation exams, no, in that also I faced the same problem. That was MCQ pattern, so that was so confusing that what to choose, everything seems right in that. So that is why I am confused.
So let me help you there. Let me ask you a question and you give me an answer here, okay? If I tell you which of the following is a key success factor for a company? Okay. One, the customer's decision point. Okay. The customer's decision point एक है option आपके पास. दूसरा option है कि probably how do you grow a business in terms of, let's say, Michael Porter का एक ले लेते हैं example. ठीक है. Give me 1 second. I'll open that for you. साथ में solve करके देंगे. We'll practice together. I want to solve this. I know a lot of people face this challenge. Let me solve this with you. Okay, there you go. Now you see, a question might come from this, which says that you have MCQ, which says, okay, which of the following for a business is not a key success factor? Okay, I say having 100 talented people in my creative team, 1. 2, the decision making of the customer is based on how differentiated the product is. 3, right? That differentiation is a long-term aspect. 4, you have a clarity of vision in your business. Which of the following is not a key success? How about that?
So can you repeat the options, please?
Sure. One is you have a great talented team. 1. Number 2 is the customer decides your product based on differentiation. Number 3, right? The differentiation you have is a long term, cannot be imitated by the competitor. And number 4 is that you are very clear with your vision. Which of the following is not a key success factor?
Sir, in this also now everything seems that everything is key success factor.
Exactly. अब आपको everything is a key success factor. But यहाँ पे देखिए, key success factor is very well defined in terms of the factors that shape whether a company will be financially and competitively successful. Right? But आप यहाँ देखिए, क्या दिए? The 3 options you have is 1, what basis the customer is making decision, differentiation. Do you have the resources and capabilities? Yes, you have 100 people creatively. Is it a long term? Yes, people can't imitate for long term. It is just you who will do that for so many years to come. And you're clear with your vision. Clarity of vision is not a key success factor. Clarity of vision. अब आप कहोगे यार अगर मेरा विजन क्लियर है तो आई बी सक्सेसफुल, नॉट नेसेसरी. बट अगर you have these 3 things, it is most likely that you will be successful. That is what the concept says. Now, why are you getting confused is because you're thinking theoretically here, key success factor, having a clear vision will obviously lead to a success. The answer is no. You're talking from an exam perspective. I'm giving you the keyword in the examination, key success factor concept. Now, if you have read this key success factor, the KSF only has 3 questions. One, you will go beyond assuming that having clarity of vision is also key success factor. But confused both. That is why I tell you, exam perspective say you have to understand the exam is very to the point. What we are telling you is giving you a concept. When you practice more, Kianshi, when you practice more, when you look at the questions, आपके शुरू के 100 क्वेश्चन गलत होंगे. I can guarantee you. Don't get stressed. Don't get demotivated कि मेरे आंसर्स गलत हो रहे हैं, मैं कंफ्यूज हो रही हूँ. You start reading a key point क्या माँ. There will always be a key point, a key thing that the question will ask for. You have to use that as the anchor to find the right answer. एक और example दे दें. Right? I know a lot of people get confused, so I'll spend time on this. Let me go to this one we were talking. Okay, entry barriers. अब आपके पास मैं question लेके आता हूँ. Which of the following is not an entry barrier? Which of the following is not an entry barrier for a new entry? Okay, 1, product differentiation, capital requirement, economies of scale, right? And no clear direction or no clear CEO confusion. अब मेरे को बताओ कैसे ढूंढोगे?
No clear confusion.
क्यों? How did you figure that out? भाई एंट्री बैरियर है, अगर मेरे सीईओ को कंफ्यूजन है, दैट इज एन एंट्री बैरियर. आई डोंट हैव क्लैरिटी ऑफ डायरेक्शन, दैट इज एन एंट्री बैरियर.
क्योंकि the
The same.
starting three options are given in this particular slide.
अभी तो आप कंफ्यूज नहीं हुए,
Yes, sir.
राइट? सी, दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. व्हेन यू फिगर आउट, मैं आपको एंट्री बैरियर दूं, अब नॉट हैविंग क्लियर विजन, इफ इज अ की केएसएफ में आप कंफ्यूज हो रहे हो, तो एंट्री बैरियर में भी होना चाहिए कि आई डोंट हैव क्लियर, तो दैट इज एन एंट्री बैरियर. आई कांट एंटर इन इंडस्ट्री इफ आई डोंट हैव अ क्लियर विजन और अ कंफ्यूजन इन माय डायरेक्शन. बट आपने कहा वो एंट्री बैरियर तो नहीं है, बट वो केएसएफ है. बट हमने तो केएसएफ में भी नहीं बोला वो, राइट? नाउ यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कॉन्सेप्ट क्या, क्वेश्चन में वो कॉन्सेप्ट क्या पूछे. एंट्री बैरियर की बात कर रहे हैं तो आपको सिलेबस में से व्हाट यू थिंक, व्हाट आई कैन अश्योर यू, आप सही सोच रहे हैं. फ्रॉम अ कॉन्सेप्ट परस्पेक्टिव आप सही सोच रहे हैं कि इफ माय क्लैरिटी ऑफ डायरेक्शन नहीं है तो की सक्सेस फैक्टर, आई विल नॉट बी सक्सेसफुल. बट वो की सक्सेस फैक्टर नहीं है. मैं सक्सेसफुल नहीं होऊंगा, दैट इज अ ट्रू थिंग, but that is not a key success factor. That is not a factor for my success. You understand what I'm saying,
Yes, sir.
right? Again, that's what I'm saying. The more you practice, the more you understand the concept क्या है, उसके around हमने क्या पढ़ा है, then you start solving questions. Then you start. Otherwise, आप confused रहोगे. But the more you read, the more you solve, the more interesting it becomes. And it is not a tough subject. I know आपको अभी भी confidence नहीं, I can hear you from that voice, but I can assure you we still have classes. Practice. नहीं समझ आते, next week I'm still here. Practice this entire week. Come back next Saturday. Let me know if you still उतना ही low confidence पे, या your confidence increase because you started strong. I'm still here for a few weeks, so use that time. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Any other questions, any doubts? Great questions on Priyanshi. I would say that is a very common thing that, like you said, बहुत लोगों को होता है. But that's why we say keep practicing. The more you read, the more you get. पूछ क्या है. Okay. If no further questions, no doubts, I am still here for a few weeks. The more you practice, the more you get back to me कि हमको नहीं समझ आ रहा है, and that's my job. I will help you become perfect in solving concepts that we study here. So use that opportunity, practice over the week. I'll give you assignment as well. We'll upload that and we discuss that next. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining on a Sunday morning, and I'll see you next week, same time. We start with chapter 3 and we practice more questions. Okay. Thank you everyone. Anji, thank you, sir. Thank you.